The school bully cornered me against the wall and asked me to confess my love to him. I heard you're cursed. Whoever you confess to will have bad luck. His beautiful eyes curved up. Hurry up. I want to give it a try. I transmigrated into a villainous female supporting character, and in order to avoid falling in love with the male lead, I actively confessed my love to other boys. But strangely, whoever I confessed to would have bad luck. The first boy was accidentally hit by a car when he went out. The second boy filled in the wrong answer sheet in the exam. The third boy sprained both feet while playing basketball. I was so unlucky that rumors started to spread. Rants, I must be cursed. Whoever she likes will have bad luck. Out of conscience, I dared not find anyone else to confess to. But then the male lead came to me. The school bully, Lion, was born with a handsome appearance. His eyebrows and eyes were clear and handsome, and his temperament was outstanding. Unfortunately, having fulfilled my answer, when he was rebellious, he was quite a headache. At this moment, in the most secluded corner of street, Mary Sue Academy, he raised his hand to block my way. With a sweep of his eyes, 4 or 5 underlings behind him followed closely. There was no way to escape. I tried to reason with him. Bro, we were born under the red flag and grew up in the spring breeze. Superstitious nonsense like luck. We shouldn't believe or spread rumors about it. Ryan narrowed his eyes and said forcefully, "Bye. If I tell you to confess, you confess. My luck is up to me." "Fine, then. You have underlings. You're the boss." I opened my mouth with difficulty and stammered. I can't say it. It's too sudden. I'm not ready." Ryan pursed his lips, looking impatient. My survival instincts kicked in. "School bully. Why do you want to have bad luck? Tell me a reason. And maybe it'll be easier for me." Ryan's eyes, which in the original book were always described as containing endless stars, dimmed. He said sorrowfully, "Ease is the reason. My life is too smooth and too boring. I need some ups and downs. Some fun. This reason is just outrageous." But then I suddenly understood. The male lead of this book follows the perfect route. Good family background. Good looks. Good at studying. Good at sports, he's good at everything. But then he met the female lead, Tina, a transfer student who was as ordinary as a wild grass but full of vitality. Since then, the perfect male lead, like a god, was defeated. He developed emotions, learned to be lovesick, and for the first time experienced what it meant to pine for someone and toss and turn. Now, the female lead hasn't transferred yet, but the male lead's rebellious period has come early. So when he heard the rumor that those who were confessed to by me would have bad luck, he was eager to try. Damn it. Since it's such a perverted request, why not fulfill it? Relieved of my psychological burden, I said straightforwardly, "Ryan, I like you." The noisy cicadas in the summer suddenly quieted down. For a brief second, I seemed to see a smile on Ryan's lips. But he quickly put on a serious face, put his hands in his pockets, and raised his chin at me. "Thanks." The breeze lifted the hem of his plain white shirt. Such a nice waist. I thought this matter was over. Unexpectedly, during the lunch break the next day, I was cornered by the school bully again. Did he find out that he had bad luck and come to question me? But I looked him up and down. Ryan looked in good spirits. His head wasn't injured, and his limbs were intact. Just as I was full of confusion, Ryan ripped open his school bag and slapped the report card in front of me. "I got the first place. Congratulations. The first place student has to be sent to participate in the physics competition. And I don't want to go." Rant's eye. "Did you seriously confess to me? Why wasn't I affected at all?" I felt wronged. "I already said, don't believe or spread rumors. It was you who insisted on." The school bully persisted. "Then try again. Do I have to take care of the after-sales service just for a confession?" I rolled my eyes inwardly but put on an obedient look on my face. All right. Ryan, I like you." "Wait a minute." The school bully came up with another idea. He raised his eyebrows and interrupted me. "How did you confess to others? Do it to me exactly the same way. I want to control the variables." Before I could say anything, One of Ryan's underlings popped up to show off. Boss. I know. Rance, I confessed to my friend last time. She gave a love letter. The envelope was pink. Ryan patted his underling's shoulder in satisfaction and turned to make things difficult for me. Rance, did you hear that? Love letter. Pink. I want one too. The love letter was written. The color was pink. Absolutely. There were even a series of exaggerated heart-shaped bubbles on the envelope, probably because the color was too girly. When I secretly gave the love letter to Ryan, I swear that not only him, but also the few underlings behind him couldn't hold back their laughter. Ryan held the envelope in his hand, weighing it up and down, looking a bit happy. Well, okay. I'll read it when I have time. But my after-sales service didn't end. A few days later, I was studying in the library when suddenly it darted, and in front of me, as expected, it was the persistent Ryan again. He had a cold face. Where's the bad luck you promised? Rance, why did I win the physics competition so easily? I glanced at the physics test paper I had just finished with a pained expression. 59 points. Comparing people is really infuriating. Ryan. The author gave you the character design of an invincible genius. If you don't win the award, who will? Even so, to avoid angering this little tyrant, I still seriously suggested. Actually, there's no scientific basis for either good luck or bad luck. Ryan suddenly leaned over, propped his hands on the table, and looked down at me. His eyes were critical. Rance, you're lying to me again. Don't think I don't know. I watched in horror as Ryan took out two pink love letters from his school bed and slapped them in front of me. The envelopes were exactly the same, but the thickness was completely different. The first one was stuffed with a dozen pages, while the other one, even with an expanded line spacing, only had 2 pages. The boy you confessed to before threw the love letter into the trash can, and I happened to see it. Fortunately, hadn't fulfilled my incession. I picked it up, otherwise I wouldn't have known. Ryan frowned and asked a soul-searching question. Tell me, Rance, why is mine so short? The reason was obvious. The previous love letters were all carefully prepared by me, and the one for the school bully was written in just 20 minutes from start to finish. But I felt like spitting a mouthful of old blood on the love letter. Isn't it enough to just give a symbolic one? Why do we even have to compare the length? I kept a straight face and lied. Condensed feelings are more sincere. A short love letter is more earnest. Just like the classical Chinese texts in our textbooks. Which one isn't full of gems and requires us to recite the whole text? Ryan's mouth twitched. I couldn't tell if he was angry or amused by me. Anyway, heading so Ryan session. After this, his cold face couldn't return. The school bully gritted his teeth and said, I don't care. Rewrite it. As if afraid that I would fool him again. He added, I want it to be as long as his. I ran out of pink letter paper and had to go to the school stationery store to restock. When paying, I met several girls who also had a crush on Ryan. When they saw me, their tone was teasing. Rance, who do you have a crush on this time? I calmly threw the letter paper on the cashier counter. There was nothing I could do. The NPCs in this book are all love-struck. I can't afford to mess with them. But I can at least avoid them. I ignored them. But they wouldn't let it go. I say, don't confess to anyone anymore. You're so unlucky. Who would accept you? Damn it. Do you think I want to confess? If it weren't for Ryan, would I be suffering like this? Why doesn't anyone come and get rid of this campus troublemaker? I gritted my teeth and wrote the love letter, cursing as I wrote, and finally managed to fill 10 pages. The thick love letter was handed over again. Ryan's smile when receiving the letter became more obvious. I hoped this matter would end soon. But how could it go as I wished? On the 3rd day, when I was pestered by Ryan again, I was already indifferent. The school bully asked me straight away. Rance, are you my lucky KOI? I had a solemn expression. Ryan, right? What happened to you again? The school is selecting the top 10 students. And I was chosen again. I even have to prepare a representative speech. Listen. Is there any justice? The person who forced a classmate to write him a love letter is actually one of the top 10 students, and will represent the whole school to speak. The logic of this book is completely dead. I really wanted to resist, but when my eye swept across Ryan's smoothly muscled forearm, I backed down. I had to continue flattering him. Is there a possibility that you, Ryan, are truly a child of good fortune? A bad luck person like me simply can't affect you. Maybe we should just call it off. Ryan frowned as if he didn't agree. He called his underlings over and questioned them. And then came to a conclusion. I understand. The previous confessions were all made publicly in front of everyone. But for me, you just secretly sent a love letter. The difference might lead to different results. A hint of playfulness flashed in Ryan's clear black and white eyes. Rance, I arrange a public confession? I care about my dignity. I really do. But the consequences of offending the school bully are even more unbearable. The bell rang for the end of the last class in the morning, and the hungry students streamed out of the teaching building and headed straight for the cafeteria. Let's just say, have some melons before eating, guaranteed to be sweet. The corridor was the only way for everyone to pass. Ryan and I stood one in front of the other. Shall we start? Sure. In front of me was the school bully with a half smile, and behind me was a large crowd of onlookers. In this high-profile and embarrassing situation, I forced myself to hand out the envelope in my hand. Ryan, please accept this. It was incredibly awkward. Under the astonished gazes of everyone, Ryan became a drama queen and asked knowingly, Rance, what are you doing? I tried to make my expression as sincere as possible. Giving you a love letter. The tip of the envelope poked the male lead's arm. But he took half a step back and continued to a drama. Why are you giving me a love letter? Enough. Ryan. How many surprises do you still have that I don't know about? Aren't you making me embarrassed enough? I cursed him thousands of times in my heart and simply decided to go all out. Because I, like you, because of my mixed feelings of grief and indignation, I shouted with full force. As soon as the last word fell, it was as if a splash of water had suddenly jumped into a boiling oil pan. The ear-piercing screams of the onlookers instantly drowned me out. It was so noisy that I only saw Ryan's lips move, but couldn't hear what he actually said. The loudest voices in the crowd came from Ryan's fanglers. Rance is a jinx. You can't agree. If she dares to confess to you, we won't let her off. Just now, there was clearly a smile in Ryan's eyes. But upon hearing these words, he suddenly seemed a bit annoyed. He turned his head and asked rather rudely, Shut up. What does her confessing to me have to do with you? The school bully's hot-tempered reputation was well known, and those girls immediately fell silent. But Ryan clearly had no patience left. With a dark face, he took a step forward and rather forcefully snatched the love letter from my hand. I'll take it. Ryan put the pink envelope into his school bag and didn't forget to give me a smile. Thank you. Rance. A gentle breeze blew the broken hair on his forehead. At this moment, I suddenly understood why so many girls liked him both openly and secretly. Ryan was really dazzlingly good-looking. But how could I be someone who only cared about looks? With such a bad temper. Who could stand him? Anyway, having to sell Rance, I wasn't going to tolerate it anymore. Even a rabbit will bite when it's cornered. Playing with confessions? I'm out. I said in a voice that only he and I could hear. After sales service ends here. The smile on Ryan's lips froze. He slightly furrowed his brows, as if he couldn't quite understand what I meant. But I had already turned around first, leaving this farce behind. Vaguely, heaven fulfilled insertion. It seemed that Ryan called my name several times, asking me to stop. That the shouts were carried away by the wind and couldn't be heard. This grand confession naturally brought countless rumors and also caused me unnecessary trouble. Not a few days later, when I was running on the playground at night, I was surrounded. 5 or 6 girls took me to a desolate restroom near the playground. Judging from their angry expressions, these must be members of the school bullies Fangler fan club. Rance, you really have a lot of nerve. Is our brother someone you can harm? Alas, the bullying plot, though late, finally arrived. Although I quite understood the plot development in a campus novel, I have to say. Your brother is the one causing trouble. Okay? Wiping the sweat from running. I tried to communicate. Dear sisters. Let's talk things out nicely. The meaning of the existence of the NPC fan club was to like Ryan. Expecting them to be rational was like calling the author an idiot. The leading girl sneered. I don't need to talk nicely to you. Ryan sighed. You just deserve a beating. I managed to dodge the first slap, and the second one grazed past my ear. The leader of the fan club had just done a manicure, and the accessories were a bit sharp. The place where her nails touched stung with a burning pain. The anger of being transported into this cheesy novel, living in constant fear, and being bullied by the school bully reached its peak at this moment. I raised my hand, pointed at the transparent plastic waste bag casually placed on the sink and the foam with the lid screen inside, and said in a calm tone, I forgot to tell you all that I'm from a poor family. So I start a live stream when I run at night to earn some pocket money. Miss, your posture of hitting me just now wasn't very pretty. Do you want to do it again so that my fans can see more? Or, before things get any worse, you can stop. And we laughed as if nothing happened. The live streaming account was set up in a hurry a few days ago, and the number of fans was still in single digits. On the surface, it was a weight loss inspirational live streaming room, but the reason for opening it came from my understanding of the novel's plot. In the later plot, the female-led Tina transfers to the school because the school bully likes her. She is ostracized by the girls who have a crush on the school bully. That day, when I publicly confessed to Ryan and saw the angry crowd, I suddenly thought of this possibility. So I took precautions and came up with an idea to try to protect myself. Luck wasn't too bad. After checking my phone and verifying that what I said was true, the girls left with dark faces. They didn't forget to leave a sentence. Stay away from Ryan. Need you to say that? It was clearly him pestering me. I responded unceremoniously. Don't worry. I'll remember to tell him to get lost. I checked in the mirror. There was a blood stain at the corner of my eye. Not too serious. Just to be safe, I still went to the hospital. My bad mood disappeared completely when I saw the on-duty doctor. The so-called finding good fortune in misfortune might be the situation right now. The on-duty doctor in front of me was very young, with beautiful flaxen hair. A light-colored mask covered the lower half of his face, only revealing his delicate eyebrows and eyes. The name tag on the white coat read Leo. Leo was definitely the most good-looking character in this book. I couldn't help but gulp. Leo quickly examined my injury with gentle movements. It's nothing serious. I'll clean and disinfect it for you. Just be careful not to get the wound wet. Ah, this is simply amazing. Such an elegant person is much better than the hot-tempered school bully. Lured by his good looks, I dared to ask, Leo, can I add you on WeChat? If I have any questions, I can find you anytime. Probably my intentions were too obvious. And the nurse sister next to us covered her mouth and laughed. Leo was also very generous and skillfully pointed at the QR code on the table. Here. I added him on WeChat. But unfortunately, fortunately, it was Leo's work account. But if I have his work account, his personal account should be within reach soon. I was full of anticipation and eager to try. But then I suddenly thought of something. As if a bucket of cold water had been poured on me. And I instantly sobered up. Does that curse that whoever I confess to will have bad luck really work? So far, I've confessed to 4 people. The first 3 boys really had bad luck. But Ryan seemed to be quite lively. So, should I focus on Ryan's luck to judge whether I can confess to Leo without harming him? Probably whoever you think about will appear. When I came out of the school infirmary, I saw a familiar figure at the door. Lian. He was sitting in the waiting area, looking around boredly. I gasped. The curse really worked. Even Ryan showed up at the hospital. Could I still confess to Leo? Thinking of my crush that ended without a result, I almost cried. Ryan also saw me. He stood up and had just said 2 words. Rance I quickly interrupted. Are you injured? Where are you hurt? Is it serious? Let me take a look. Ryan was stunned. First, he looked at himself, then at me, and frowned. You're the one who's injured. Yet you're asking me if I'm okay? Do you really like? For some reason. He suddenly stopped in the middle of his sentence. For a few seconds, his facial expressions changed rapidly. Finally, head so filled. He turned his face away, and the tips of his ears were faintly red. Soon, Radhanal no sigh. He turned back again. I'm fine. I came here to find you. I heard you were bullied. I'm sorry. I caused you trouble. I've already talked to those girls who bullied you. They won't give you any more trouble in the future. The lights in the hospital were always cold, shining down from the ceiling onto Ryan, making the outline of his jaw even more clearly defined. Maybe it was an illusion, but I saw a bit of tenderness and self-blame in Ryan's eyes. He was rather eager to take the medical record and medicine from my hand. Let me take you back to the dormitory. Okay? I opened my mouth, wanting to say something, but I didn't know what to say. When he made me rewrite the love letter and confess publicly, he was overbearing. Now that he knew he had made a mistake, he came running over to apologize, looking submissive and begging for my forgiveness. If an apology could solve everything, what would the police be for? I don't know where I got the courage, but I said, please, stay away from me. Speaking of bullying, isn't it bullying when you forced me to confess to you? It was because you bullied me first that others bullied me later. Now the person who bullied me is telling others not to bully me. Listen to yourself. Isn't this ridiculous? This was probably the first time Ryan had been rebutted. He was extremely annoyed, his face turning red and white in turns. He stammered, trying to explain something, but nothing seemed right. In the end, he could only say, Rance, I'm sorry. But what should I do for you to forgive me? How about you hit me back? That hot-tempered and chiuni bu a term hard to translate directly. It implies a kind of adolescent naivete and over-the-top behavior. Teenager actually looked at a loss. A voice inside me told me that I couldn't entirely blame him for my being bullied. After all, he couldn't predict other people's actions. But Ryan was the culprit. He forced me first. That's for sure. I was a bit hesitant. But tonight's undeserved disaster was even more annoying. So I still stuck to my idea. Don't let anyone see you with me again. Thank you. I never felt that this made-up school was so small before. When I was in class, Ryan sat next to me. When I was getting feared, Ryan queued up behind me. Even in club activities, he was in the same group as me. He even completely ignored the curious gazes of other club members. And with a smile on his face, he reached out his hand to me as if we had just met. Rance, please give me your advice. I couldn't stand it anymore and applied to withdraw from the club activities. The club president was surprised. In our street, Mary Sue Academy, credits include club activities. Are you sure you want to withdraw? Rance, then you'll lose credits this semester. What an outrageous school rule. I gritted my teeth and withdrew my application. In the foreign language club activity room, the vice president was seriously assigning homework. Everyone has to submit an English speech draft, 8,000 words, to be completed in pairs. Ryan was listening lazily, twirling his pen quickly with his slender fingers, and his gaze landed on me in the front left from time to time. Strangely enough, I couldn't find a partner to write this draft. As the deadline was approaching, I was already prepared to write the whole assignment myself, but Ryan suddenly stopped me. Write together? I refused. He insisted. Rance, don't be so petty. We just need to discuss it 2 or 3 times. And then we can write our own parts. This way, it'll be faster. I deliberated between working with the school bully and writing an extra 4,000 word essay. Being a poor student like me, I gave in. Meet me at the school CAF every Friday night. Street. Mary Sue Academy has the common problem of being unrealistic in campus novels. Even the school CAF has an elaborate Baroque-style decoration. Before doing our homework, I was a bit worried that Ryan would play tricks again. But to my surprise, this time he discussed things with me in a proper manner. Even more unexpectedly, he was quick-witted and had unique insights. He easily elevated the dull speech draft to a new level. It seems that the reason Ryan is sought after by all the girls in Street Mary Sue Academy is not entirely because of his good looks. Ryan caught the admiring look in my eyes that I didn't have time to withdraw. He cleared his throat and said in a low voice. Rance, don't be surprised if we get an A on our homework. Huh? Because I'm used to getting A's. I take back my previous evaluation of him as smart-brained. This guy clearly has a screw loose. Since I thought the environment was nice. After handing in our homework, I went to the CAF to study by myself. When Ryan and I came here before, we always occupied a table in the corner, where the lighting was the best and the temperature was most suitable. Now there was someone at that table, so I had to settle for a seat next to it. When ordering, the clerk saw me and teased. Your boyfriend didn't come this time? I've been single my whole life. Where do I have a boyfriend? Did they misunderstand Ryan and me as a couple? I realized this and explained. He's not my boyfriend. He's just a classmate. Oh, sorry. I made a mistake. Maybe to ease the awkwardness. The clerk quickly smiled and said. Because every time he comes very early and takes the quietest place. He said you're afraid of others seeing you too. I thought you two lovers wanted some privacy. I was stunned. Indeed. Every time Ryan and I met to do our homework, he arrived earlier than me and chose the most secluded place. I thought it was just a coincidence. But I didn't expect he came early on purpose. But what did he mean by you're afraid of others seeing? I thought for a long time and suddenly remembered what I said to Ryan in the hospital. Please. Stay away from me. Don't let others see you with me anymore. So Ryan specially got a hidden place to make me feel at ease. Was I overthinking? Or is this guy really this thoughtful? Ryan really lives up to being the male lead favored by the author. All kinds of rewards are piled on him like they're free. The speech draft that Ryan and I completed together was highly praised, and was even recommended to participate in the Inserholm speech competition. In this novel, besides the extremely C-ring Y Street, Mary Sue Academy, the cheesy author also arranged other schools in this city, such as Sakura Academy and Antalya Academy. These so-called noble academies, for no good reason, often hold some competitions that the masses don't like but are helpful for advancing the plot. When the notice of the competition reached me, I showed a reluctant expression. Can I abstain? Who would want to take the limelight? The one who answered me was the school principal. With a forceful and long-winded theme promotion, the honor of Street. Mary Sue Academy needs every student to protect and defend. I turned to look at Ryan. He was probably dragged here straight from the dormitory. He had just woken up and there were still pillow marks on his face. He sat next to me, yawned casually, having fulfilled me, and said, What are you looking at me for? It's your fault for not confessing properly. If you had made me have bad luck earlier, this wouldn't have happened. As if he wasn't shameless enough, he leaned closer and said, How about you confess to me again? Maybe it'll work this time. Shameless. Cheating. Damn it. I pretended not to react and kicked him hard under the table. At the same time, the school principal made a final decision. It's settled then. You two get ready and go to the competition tomorrow. The speech competition was held in a resort hotel in the suburbs. According to the schedule, we would stay there for a few nights. Street. Mary Sue Academy only sent two contestants, Ryan and me. And the reserved rooms were two adjacent ones in the hotel. Ryan let me choose first. 1707 and 1708. Which one do you choose? I like rhymes. So I chose 1707. Ryan casually smiled and said, Isn't 8 luckier? Do you want to switch with me? I ignored him. Ryan's words came true. Less than 2 hours after we checked in, I was lying on the bed playing with my phone when I suddenly heard a loud noise outside the door. The explosion made the bed shake violently. Then there were the hasty footsteps of the hotel staff and the sound of the door next door being opened. Someone shouted, The guest in 1708 is injured. Call the emergency number quickly. This was the room where Ryan was staying. I jumped up from the bed and jumped down barefoot. The door of the adjacent room was wide open. What came into view was broken glass all over the floor and several winding bloodstains. My breath caught in my throat. Ryan was standing at the door, haphazardly wrapped in a bath towel. The mottled bloodstains on the white fabric were shocking. He frowned and explained to the hotel staff. I just finished taking a bath and was getting dressed. The bathroom glass suddenly exploded. As he spoke, he slightly turned sideways, and I immediately saw his bare back, covered with dense cuts from the shattered glass. Some of the wounds were very deep. The hotel staff supported Ryan and wanted to send him downstairs to wait for the ambulance. But someone objected, saying that he was covered in blood and would scare other guests. In the chaos, Ryan turned around and saw me. Across the crowd, we looked at each other for 3 seconds. I thought he would say something like, "I'm so unlucky today," or "It hurts so much." But he didn't mention it at all. All he said was, "Ransai, put on your shoes. There's glass all over the floor. Be careful not to cut your feet." He was already weak and his face was pale. Yet Ryan was still worried about me not wearing shoes. I felt a slight, brief tremor in my chest. As a student of St. Mary Sue Academy, I was asked to go to the hospital's emergency room with Ryan. He was drowsy all the way. I forcefully suppressed the surging emotions in my heart and helped him register, pay the fees, and queue up. It was not until Ryan's wounds were treated that my tense nerves relaxed. The hotel staff who accompanied us to the hospital was also still in shock. Our hotel has been open for several years, and this is the first time we've encountered such an accident. The self-explosion of the bathroom glass was indeed rare. Why did Ryan have to be the one to encounter it? He was clearly the male lad with excellent luck. Thinking of the rumor that anyone I confess to will have bad luck, I was half afraid and half worried. "Ryan, you're so unlucky. Could it be that the curse has come true?" Ryan, who had been listless, looked puzzled when he heard this. "What curse?" "The rumor that anyone who is confessed to by me will have bad luck. You made me confess so many times. Could it be that the bad luck has accumulated, and then a big one came?" Ryan suddenly raised his hand and made a choosing gesture. He smiled faintly and said to me seriously, "Ransai, I don't think the curse has come true. Instead, I think it's my good luck again." What kind of upside-down nonsense is this? Do you want to go for another checkup? You couldn't have been scared silly, could you? Ryan pouted, which tugged at his wound. He grimaced in pain but still didn't forget to explain. "The school only booked 2 rooms. If I didn't live in 1708, then it would be you. The one who got injured might be you. If you got hurt, it would hurt so much. So how can this not be called my good luck? It's a fallacy." Yet he said it with such conviction. But at that moment, my eyes got wet. I tried to take a deep breath, not wanting Ryan to see me crying. But the male lead had sharp observation ability. He looked at my face with interest. "Ransai, why are your eyes red? Are you worried about me?" I didn't want to lie. I was indeed worried. But Ryan is the male lead, and it should be the female lead who is worried about him, not me. I handed Ryan to the hotel staff and then ran to the window to blow the wind for a long time until the redness and swelling around my eyes were less obvious. When I returned to the ward, Ryan was lying on the bed, idly playing with his phone. The person who was quiet just now suddenly started hissing in pain when I came in. "Ouch. Ransai, you're finally back. It hurts. The anesthesia has worn off. I'm also cold. I think I have a fever. Can't he be more well-behaved?" I wanted to retort. But thinking about the reason for his injury, I couldn't say anything. I could only sit down beside him in silence and pick up the thermometer to take his temperature. Unexpectedly, Ryan grabbed my hand and placed it on his forehead. "Don't be so troublesome. Just feel with your hand to see if I have a fever." His forehead was indeed warm to the touch. His eyelashes fluttered against my palm, tickling me. The youthful and vigorous aura of the young man surrounded me. I struggled a bit, trying to pull my hand back. But Ryan seemed to anticipate my move and increased the strength of his grip. "Don't run away. Holding your hand makes me feel less pain." As he spoke, he raised his eyebrows, suddenly looking a bit cautious. "Ransai, are you still mad at me?" I didn't understand. "Mad at you for what?" "Let go of my hand, and then I won't be mad. Not about this. It's about the thing where I made you confess to me. Are you still mad at me? Don't be mad, okay?" Why did Ryan ask this? Whether I'm mad or not has nothing to do with him. Could it be that my emotions are that important to him? My heart started pounding. I shrank back a bit and pursed my lips. Okay. This time you got injured. So let's just call it even. Ryan's eyes, which were already bright, now couldn't help but break into a big grin. I knew Rance I was the best. I wasn't sure if this was a joke. I tried to suppress my slightly excited mood and pointed at the alarm clock by the bed. Look at what time it is. Go to sleep. It was late at night. And Ryan fell into a deep sleep. His sleeping face was peaceful, with the usual arrogance gone. I sat by his bedside, wide awake. The light was dim, but because I was close enough, I could still see Ryan's slightly trembling eyelashes. Then his straight nose. And then his lips that looked very soft. I don't know how long I stared. Anyway, when I realized my gaze was too intense, I almost cried out. Rance, you're so lustful. I ran to the bathroom and washed my face with cold water for a long time. My cheeks were no longer hot. And my mind became clearer. But I still couldn't deny a fact. This is a bit bad. I seem to have some unrealistic and inappropriate feelings for Ryan. Some love. The world constructed in this book is really small. The person who came to make the morning ward round the next day turned out to be Leo, who had treated me before. Doctors are like bricks, moved around wherever the plot needs. Leo himself still remembered me. Is it you again? I said sheepishly. Yeah. Leo changed the dressing for Ryan and also checked the wound on my face by the way. It's healing well. And there's no scar left. Because checking my scar took a little time. Leo was in a hurry when he left the ward. Coincidentally, hadn't fulfilled my obsession. He bumped into a girl. The girl had long, straight black hair and was wearing a light green floral dress. Looking cute and soft. Knocked by the tall Leo, she stepped back several steps. Tina covered her nose. And tears welled up. Hitting one's nose on someone's shoulder must hurt. Leo immediately apologized and then invited her to his consulting room for an examination. But Tina waved her hand. It's okay. It's okay. You go ahead with your work. My nose is original. It can't be broken. Under the surface, Tina was actually a funny person. Listening from the side, I couldn't help laughing. Leo gently insisted. Let me take a look anyway. Then I can be at ease. Tina said. All right. Then you can also help me see if I should get a new one pinched. Leo bent his fingers and gently lifted Tina's chin. Examined it in the light. And said. It's fine. He finally added. No need to pinch. It's perfect as it is now. Maybe it was an illusion. But I thought the girl blushed a little. Tina and I watched as the hem of Leo's white coat disappeared down the corridor. In this campus novel where everyone's appearance is above the passing mark, I can pair anyone up as a couple. The lively Tina and the gentle doctor? I'm all for it. I couldn't help but start shipping them. Sis. Let me tell you. This doctor is super handsome. I have his work WeChat. Do you want to add him? Tina didn't hesitate at all. Great. Give it to me quickly. He's really handsome. After sharing the QR code, Tina stood at the door of the ward and didn't leave. Is Ryan staying in this ward? I was stunned. You. Are you looking for Ryan? She nodded. Yeah. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Tina, a student from Sakura Academy, the organizer of this competition. The teacher in our academy asked me to come and check on the injured students. You're Rance, right? Ryan's partner? Tina. The female lead of this book. The female lead clearly came for Ryan. Yet I was still complimenting Leo's good looks to her. I was actually trying to break up the official couple. I was so stupid. At this moment, if I were a kind-hearted supporting female character, I should invite Tina into the ward to see Ryan. But deep down, a voice was stopping me. Don't let her see Ryan. It was also through this opportunity that Street Marisu Academy extended an olive branch to the female lead. I held back the urge to complain about how can one transfer to another school so casually, and tried hard to recall the subsequent plot of the original book. When the female lead first arrived, the male lead, under the teacher's request, showed her around the campus. The two of them went through a typical lovers who bicker routine and then fell in love with each other. This is the correct way for the male and female leads in a campus novel to get together. I felt extremely jealous. Ryan carefully observed my expression and suddenly smiled. Ransai, are you jealous because she asked me out? What is jealousy? It's sour. I'm not jealous. I dryly denied it. It's rare that you care about your classmates. Why would I stop you? Ryan seemed a bit disappointed but didn't say anything more. The car sped along. And I secretly peeked at Ryan through the reflection in the car window. I used to think he was detestable. But now, the more I looked at him, the less detestable he seemed. However, with the female lead's powerful arrival, what chance did I have? Just relying on getting to know Ryan earlier? I didn't have much confidence. I could even say that I had no chance at all. A few days later, on the forum of Street Mary Sue Academy, I saw photos of Ryan and Tina. I don't know which classmate took the sneak shots, but the composition was quite good. The two of them were walking on the tree-lined path on campus, very close to each other. Although their expressions couldn't be seen from the backs, they looked very well matched. There was a series of comments under the post. I heard that the school bully was injured, but he still accompanied the new classmate to visit the campus even with his injury. He's really considerate. It's rare to see the school bully being gentle. I'm shipping this couple. Occasionally, there were also a few declarations of unfollowing from the school bully's fan club, but they were pushed way back. I read every comment carefully, feeling mixed emotions. After all, the female lead is the female lead. She has a universal matching property. She looks great standing with Leo. And she's no less suitable walking with the school bully. While I was in a daze, my phone suddenly received a new message. It was from Ryan. We added each other on WeChat when we were working on the assignment together before. Apart from making appointments to meet, we didn't talk much. And it was always him who took the initiative to send me some jokes or study materials related to the courses. I rarely replied. But this time, he sent a series of messages. As if he thought one or two sentences couldn't make it clear. Ryan, don't believe that post. Ryan, it's just an angle problem. It just seems intimate. Ryan, I've already asked them to delete the post. I wanted to type but thought I shouldn't reply to him. This was originally the plot of the original book. I've read it. So how could I not believe it? Seeing that I didn't respond, Ryan lost patience and directly made a voice call. What exactly do you want to say? It's always showing typing? I tried to make my voice sound calm. Oh, what post are you talking about? I'm practicing listening and didn't see it. After a 3-second silence, Ryan let out a soft sigh. Well, it's okay then. You study hard. I couldn't tell if that sigh was one of relief or boredom. By night, all the posts and photos were deleted cleanly. This plot, which was full of sweetness in the original book, for some reason, advanced without even a ripple. Next, even stranger things happened. The male lead really started to have bad luck. In the school-wide exam, Tina firmly took the first place, overwhelming the male lead. In the math modeling competition, the male lead's team had frequent problems and was eliminated, while the team that the female lead recruited temporarily became an unstoppable dark horse. Even in the interview for the student union election, Ryan overslept and didn't participate. So the female lead was successfully elected. This difference was amazing. Even I was a little surprised. If strictly following the original book's plot, although the male lead and the female lead were always competing, they were evenly matched, with each winning and losing at times. Why is Ryan always losing now? I don't know if it's because of his bad luck, but Ryan has been staying indoors a lot recently. According to his underlings, their big brother always stays in the dormitory in a daze. And sometimes he's too lazy to even eat. For a while, everyone said, Ransai is really cursed. It's only been a few days since she confessed to the school bully, and the school bully has been in a slump. Although I had friends around me defending me, I was still a bit depressed. One night, when I was taking a compulsory course in the teaching building, I ran into Ryan. Our eyes met, and Ryan immediately looked away, as if we were just two strangers. Was he trying to avoid suspicion? As we were about to pass by each other, I couldn't help but call out to him. How have you been recently? Ryan awkwardly touched his hair with his fingers and simply said, "Not bad. What about the wound on your back?" "Not bad either." I had never seen him look so down. Was he so discouraged that he lost confidence? I was worried. "I heard you've had bad luck recently. Is it because I confessed to you that you're having bad luck? I was thinking if there's any way I can help you." Ryan's cold expression finally softened a bit. "It's my own bad luck. It has nothing to do with you. Don't take it too hard." After saying that, he turned around and left. Well, so fierce. Actually, when I was reading the novel and just transmigrated here, my impression of Ryan was like this. Hot-tempered. Moody. Able to choke people with a single sentence. Making people itch with hatred. But he had been gentle to me before. Although it was brief. I did see another side of him. Maybe he wasn't completely a hateful person. It was really pitiful that he was affected by me. So what could I do now? Right. It seemed that the previous few unlucky guys I confessed to had their luck return to normal after I confessed to someone else. If I confessed to someone else again, maybe Ryan would be free from this. Should I choose someone else to confess to and try to turn his luck around? Thinking about confessing to someone else, I felt strange. I had already realized that I liked Ryan a bit. But my liking meant nothing to him. So I probably didn't need to care. Right? As a passerby supporting female character. Wasn't I just supposed to be an assistant in the male lead's love story? Having thought this through, I wrote another pink love letter. Leaving the recipient's signature blank. I carried the love letter with me every day. Ready to give it to the most annoying person in street. Mary Sue Academy when the opportunity arose. By observing carefully, I could find quite a few candidates. People who spat on the ground. Those who played music publicly in the library. Those who occupied seats randomly in the cafeteria. And those who showed affection regardless of the occasion. They were all quite disgusting. But I always felt that they didn't deserve this. Later, after painstakingly waiting, I finally found the most suitable candidate, a two-timing scumbag. Two girls confronted him at the door, asking why he was flirting with them at the same time. And he denied it with an innocent look on his face. I found out that this scumbag was named Ivan. Well, he was the unlucky guy. In the school cafeteria, I took out the pink love letter, unfolded it, and wrote the first word Ivan in the address part. Before I could write the second word, I was surrounded by 3 or 5 girls again. Without surprise, they were still the school bullies Spangler fan club. The leader had an angry look on her face. "Rance, we finally caught you. We haven't settled the score from last time yet. You think just because Ryan follows you around every day, we can't do anything? Can he follow you every day?" I was a bit confused. Ryan follows me every day, preventing them from getting to me? What were they talking about? But come to think of it, it seemed to be the case. During the time after going to the hospital, I could run into Ryan wherever I went. I originally thought it was because the school was too small and his protagonist aura was too strong, so we couldn't avoid meeting. But I didn't expect that he was following me on his own initiative to protect me from being harassed by others. Thinking of this detail, I was distracted. The leader saw the love letter in my hand and snorted. "Rance, can't you? A jinx. Be more well-behaved? Why do you have to be so annoying? Let me see. Who else do you want to harm?" As she spoke, she quickly snatched the love letter from my hand and even opened it to read. "Hello. Although it's very presumptuous and although we haven't met a few times, I still want to say that I like you." This was too much. I was both anxious and angry, trying to snatch the letter back, but was blocked by other girls. We pushed and shoved, and the pink love letter was on the verge of being torn to pieces. At this moment, someone reached out from above and took the love letter. It was Leo. He wasn't wearing a white coat today. Instead, he had on a long black trench coat. The dull color, combined with his serious expression, gave him a bit of the Dean of Students air, making everyone feel a bit intimidated. Why was Leo at Street Mary Sue Academy? He lowered his head to look at the letter paper in his hand. Frowning. "I think it's not nice of you to treat a girl like this." The group leader, seeing someone backing me up, became even angrier. "Who are you to meddle in our business? Leo looked at the cover of the love letter in his hand again and said calmly. Look, look. The recipient of the love letter is Ivan. So this is for me. Now can you leave Ranzai alone? The group leader was about to say something. But someone behind her tugged at the corner of her clothes. Says, if Ranzai confesses to someone else, the curse on Ryan will be lifted. This is a good thing. Let's go. After the troublemakers left, Leo folded the letter paper in his hand. I apologized repeatedly. Sorry. Leo. Can you give this back to me? Actually, it's not for you. I absolutely couldn't give it to him. A person as nice as Leo deserved nothing but the best luck. Leo nodded in understanding. I know it's not for me. I just wanted to help you out of this situation. Just as the pink envelope was about to be handed to me, a cold female voice sounded behind us. Did Leo ask me out to see this? I felt Leo's body stiffen instantly. Tina's voice seemed on the verge of crying. You said you wanted to return the cookies I baked myself, but you accepted the love letter rants I wrote to you. You said I'm more than 10 years younger than you. Just a child who doesn't know what love is, and that my feelings for you are just out of curiosity, but is Ranzai not a child to you? If you want me to give up, you don't have to go to such lengths. Only then did I notice that Leo was holding a plain white paper bag in his right hand, with a cookie box with delicate patterns inside. So, Tina baked cookies for Leo. But Leo asked her out to return them? And then she happened to see me, confessing, to Leo. And Leo seemed to accept it. My mind went blank. And I quickly wanted to explain this misunderstanding. But the most awkward thing was that another person leisurely emerged from behind Tina. It was Ryan. His eyes moved to the love letter in Leo's hand. Looking a bit lost. Ranzai. You're confessing again. Oh no, no. All the explanation I had just thought of flew out of my mind. For a moment, the four of us stared at each other. It was Tina who broke the ice first. I understand. I won't look for Leo anymore. The way she turned around and left with tears in her eyes was really pitiful. Leo hesitated for a moment and then chased after her. Well, this development was a bit unexpected, but it wasn't completely incomprehensible. At that time, Ryan was injured and in the hospital, and Tina was running to the hospital every day. I was insanely jealous back then. But it turned out that she wasn't going to see Ryan at all. Instead, she was going for Leo, who was treating Ryan. I held the love letter in my hand and secretly glanced at Ryan. This poor guy still didn't realize that his girlfriend had run off with someone else and still had the time to pester me. Ranzai, how many times did you write like him in the love letter? Wyatt twitched the corner of his mouth. Well, the doctor should have a better temper than me, and won't bully her. It's not strange that you like him. What? Was he blessing me? I thought about that night in the hospital, when Ryan held my hand and arrogantly asked me to check his temperature. At that time, I was touched. But for Ryan, it was probably just a game when he was bored. Just like how he always cornered me and forced me to confess to him. It was like a prank. My eyes were sore, but I forced myself to stay calm. Who I like has nothing to do with you. For a long time, Ryan bit his lips tightly and didn't speak. The muscles on his arms gradually tensed, as if he had made some very important decision. He said hoarsely, word by word, "Who says it has nothing to do with me?" Counting what was written in the love letter. You've said, "I like you," to me 28 times. Surely. It's more than the number of times you said you like him. I was stunned. Had I really said I liked Ryan that many times? I didn't even know how many times I had said it, but he actually counted it seriously. But what was the point of counting this now? So what do you want to do? The school bully's face turned suspiciously red. I don't want to do anything. I just think it's about time. It was my turn to confess. My heart skipped a beat. The once arrogant and haughty person was now lowering his head and looking at me with a gentle expression. Ranzai, I like you. Can you accept me? I should have heard him right. At this moment, shock outweighed joy, and confusion outweighed shyness. Ryan was still mumbling. I've been paying all my attention to you, and you didn't appreciate it at all. You avoided me whenever you saw me. And now you're confessing to other boys. I'm so angry. But I can't do anything about it. Who asked me to bully you first and make you hate me? All the details I had guessed before turned into a sudden realization of so that's how it is. The emotions that were once sour or astringent, now when thought about, turned into a sweetness that made the corners of my mouth turn up. Sure enough, the person being confessed to can manipulate the other at will. Looking at Ryan's head that was getting lower and lower, I couldn't resist the urge to tease him. I said slowly, "Everyone in school says that whoever I confess to will have bad luck. Aren't you afraid?" Ryan pouted. "There's no such thing in the world. It's just people worrying about nothing. I don't believe such nonsense." This rumor, passed on from one person to another, had been weighing on my mind for days. I was half believing and half doubting. But there was nothing I could do. Ryan's words completely freed me from this worry. Although I was touched in my heart, I was still trying to be reserved. "You used to bully me a lot. Now, just saying this one sentence and expecting me to change my mind is a bit wishful thinking." Ryan nodded, looking even more submissive. "So what do you want me to do?" "The tables have turned. Today, I'm in charge. After bullying me so many times, it's time to get it all back." With interest. "Where should I start?" "Well, how about starting from our encounter?" I patted Ryan's shoulder in satisfaction and made things difficult for him. "Ryan. 28 public confessions. You arrange it?" Extra story since he was a child. Ryan has been a lucky guy. He always got full marks in exams. Came first in every competition. And was always praised. To experience what it was like to have bad luck, he would sometimes deliberately cause trouble. But things often backfired. He deliberately wrote wrong answers in the exam. But that question was beyond the syllabus. And he was the only one in the school who got it right. In the composition competition, he criticized the current situation, but was instead praised by the teacher for having a broad vision. During the school-organized winter camp, in order to experience being scolded by the teacher, he opened the window on a cold winter night to let the cold wind in, hoping to make everyone catch a cold. Surprisingly, the honeycomb coal stove happened to go out that day. He saved a roomful of classmates who might have suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning. Then, went on a low sigh. He was commended by the whole school. No one believed that he was deliberately causing trouble. Everyone said that Ryan was a brave and fearless teenager. The little red flower on his chest bright and his face. But it couldn't make him happy. All of this was so boring that Ryan began to wonder if his life would become more interesting if there was a little bit of a twist. Until one day, he saw a girl confessing to someone in the academy. And he got an inspiration. The girl had a charming oval face, curved eyebrows, and a beaming smile. She cautiously handed out the love letter. Her cheeks were dyed a beautiful shade of pink. But, where the girl couldn't see, the boy's expression was as if he had swallowed a fly. Ryan was very puzzled. Even if he didn't like her, he should cherish the girl's feelings. Why did this person act as if he had seen a ghost? After the girl left, the guy called his friend. He started with a string of swear words and then said, "Rance, I confessed to me. I'm doomed. Don't you know her? She's the bad luck charm of our academy. The first person she confessed to was hit by a car when he went out. The second person failed in the wrong answer sheets in 3 exams. Whoever she confesses to will have really bad luck. I'm going to have bad luck." Was it really that effective? Ryan was skeptical, but when he saw this person again the next day, he found him sitting in a wheelchair. When someone asked him what happened, he said, "Don't mention it. I sprained both feet while playing basketball. When Rance confessed to me yesterday, I knew I was going to have bad luck." Talking bad about people behind their backs. What a man. On one hand, Ryan thought this guy deserved it. On the other hand, he was full of curiosity about Rance. If Rance confessed to him, could he also experience a little bit of the fun of bad luck? He decided to do it right away. He specifically found Rance and forced her to confess to him. Although Ryan was a hot-tempered bully, there were girls who had the courage to confess to him. He originally thought that Rance's confession would be no different from others. But when the words actually came out of Rance's mouth, it felt somehow different. She was actually quite afraid of him. But the frown on her face also showed her stubbornness. It made him wonder what would happen next. Seeing her seemed to make him feel good, so after seeing her once, he wanted to see her again. Whether he had bad luck or not was no longer important. He just liked seeing her helpless and at a loss. Maybe he was born a bad guy. But what he didn't expect was that his actions actually brought her trouble. The so-called school bully fan club came out to uphold justice. Hearing that Rance I was bullied and even had her face scratched, Ryan didn't waste a minute and rushed to the hospital. When Rance I questioned him, "The person who bullied me tells others not to bully me. Aren't you being ridiculous?" For the first time in his life, Ryan felt what it was like to shoot himself in the foot. Why on earth did he have to bully her? One confession from her should have been enough. Why couldn't he stop? No. It was useless to say anything. Anyway, having fulfilled land session. When Rance I glared at him and turned to leave, Ryan felt his heart sink. It seemed that he would never feel relaxed again. But this wasn't the end. It was said that there were many people on campus who wanted to target Rance I. Ryan could have used his infamous title as a school bully to intimidate those people. But thinking of Rance I's sarcastic words, he was a bit afraid. This girl had a sharp tongue. She always hit the nail on the head. No wonder he has a good eye. Wait a minute. It seems there's a misunderstanding now. Ryan. Does he have feelings for Rance I? Whether he likes her or not. He can't figure it out right away. But he knows for sure that no one should be allowed to bully Rance I again. So, he secretly follows her to prevent any trouble. In the foreign language club. Perhaps because her luck with confessions is so bad. No one wants to work with her on writing the draft, fearing they might fail. Ryan hesitated for a long time. But finally, he swallowed his pride and went to ask for cooperation. His natural good luck started to work again. He casually mentioned a few key points about the assignment, and then he saw Rance I's eyes light up, as if she admired him a lot. For a moment, in his pride, Ryan couldn't help but act stupid. He said, "I'm used to getting an A." Immediately, Rance I curled her lips in disdain. It is said that in front of the person you like, even the smartest person will become stupid. Ryan could only comfort himself like this. Anyway, heading fulfilled land session. At the moment when the bathroom glass exploded on its own and he happened to get injured, he was truly glad. Fortunately, it wasn't Rance I. It's better for bad things to happen to him than to Rance I. Then, let out a low sigh. Self-mockery followed. Obviously, getting injured was a hassle. But he was still in a good mood. He was really hopelessly stupid. But who says one can't find blessings in misfortune? Seeing that he was injured, Rance I's worry was written all over her face. Outside the emergency room, she ran around for him, taking care of everything. Even the nurse thought she was his girlfriend. In the ward, when Rance I thought he was asleep, she boldly stared at his face. Her eyes were especially gentle. She even looked at his lips. Ryan used all his strength to hold back from grinning. Even if one has never eaten pork, one has seen a pig run. Rance I liked him. There was no mistake about it. Ryan thought that maybe if he tried a little harder, things between him and Rance I would develop naturally. How could he make this development happen faster? The school bully collected his underlings' phones and looked for inspiration from their conversations with their girlfriends. Whenever he came across funny jokes, he saved them and sent them to Rance I. However, there was no response. Jealously, heading fulfilled sigh, he threw the phone back into his underling's arms. What kind of jokes are these? They're not funny at all. The underling was particularly aggrieved. Brother, I got my girlfriend just by telling jokes. She loves me very much. Ryan squeezed out 2 words through gritted teeth. Shut up. The most annoying thing was that since coming out of the hospital, Rance I started avoiding him again. What on earth was going on? Ryan wished he could pin Rance I down in the laboratory and use all kinds of instruments to analyze her emotions, to see how he could solve the problem and make her focus on him again. Because of the school teacher's arrangement, Ryan had to show Tina, who transferred to the school, around the campus. He didn't know which bastard secretly took pictures of him and Tina and spread rumors. He was so afraid of making Rance I unhappy that he quickly asked someone to delete the posts. But what about Rance I? She said indifferently that she didn't care. As anxious as he was just now, He was now completely disheartened. Then came the hatred for his own self-indulgence. Why was he so self-righteous? Rance Eye didn't like him at all. Why was he being led by Rance Eye's emotions? Why did he have to like her? The high-spirited school bully first fell into self-doubt and then self-denial. He had no interest in class, was too lazy to participate in competitions, and even ate casually. He himself found his down and out appearance annoying. And he even accidentally bumped into Rance Eye in the teaching building. Meeting her curious gaze, Ryan hated himself for being slovenly and wanted to run away quickly. But Rance Eye came closer instead. He was a little expectant, wanting to hear what she had to say. But she rambled on about the thing that he forced her to confess. Ryan felt like spitting out a mouthful of old blood. If it wasn't for his stupid behavior of bullying Rance Eye back then, would this girl be avoiding him like the plague? Maybe they would have hugged and kissed long ago. Full of resentment, Ryan started to think about what he could do to break down Rance Eye's defenses. She definitely wouldn't respond to force. So maybe he should try being gentle. But he, the school bully, was born with pride. Forget it. Even the toughest steel can be turned into softest state of being soft and yielding. Before Ryan could figure out how to be gentle, something that made him feel even more threat and happened. Rance Eye was actually confessing to someone else. And it was the doctor who treated his injury. Oh no. No wonder she accompanied the doctor out for so long that day. This girl's thoughts really never stayed on him for a moment. Ryan thought he was truly hopeless. But watching Leo chase after Tina and go out, he suddenly had a glimmer of hope. Maybe when Rance Eye found out that pursuing Leo was hopeless, she would give up? And he, Ryan, might have a chance. Forget it. No need to think about flowers, cakes, or public confessions. Instead of choosing a day, it's better to do it right away. Maybe he, the son of good fortune, would have some good luck this time. May the god of luck favor him. May Rance Eye give him another chance. May there have been a moment of sincerity in Rance Eye's 28. I like yous to him. Ryan took a deep breath. Rance Eye, I like you. I can do 28 confessions.